So this is a story of how I found deliverance for the first time. A couple of years ago, I was sitting on the floor in the living room and I was just crying. I was done with life. I had a suicide note written. I remember just telling God, I've tried everything. I've tried therapy, I've tried medication, I've tried inpatient therapy, I've tried supplements and changing my diet. I'm no longer in an abusive relationship. Like, I've made all the changes that I know to make. But life still hurts so much. It's so heavy. I just can't do it anymore. And so I had written a suicide note and I'm like, I'm sorry. I can't do this anymore. And all of a sudden I got a text from someone that I went to church with at the time. And all that was in it was a link. And I clicked on the link and it was a link to a deliverance boot camp. And I knew only a little bit about deliverance. I knew that you cast out demons, but I didn't know much other than that. But honestly, when I got this link, I was mad because I knew it was the Holy Spirit. I knew that He wanted me to take this boot camp. I was like, but I had tried everything. And the Lord's like, well, you haven't tried this yet. And so I was mad at the person who sent the text. I was mad at God for setting that up because I wanted to give up. I was tired. But I committed to going anyway because clearly the Lord wanted me to go. And this is over Zoom. And she starts doing this deliverance. We start walking through the process of a door closing prayer and inner healing, and we break ungodly soul ties, which I had several people that had abused me, so all these things were really helpful. And then finally we got to the point where we cast out demons. And I remember at the end of this process, the woman I was working with, her name was Andrea, her daughter had said, oh, I have a word for Angel. And she said, the Lord is going to give you a new reason to smile. He's going to bring back your smile. And I think that was the first time I've ever heard a word from the Lord where I was like, there's no way. Like, if you had any idea the kind of pain that I'm in, there's no way. Like, of all things, that's what I don't believe. No, not that I'm going to be able to smile again. Like, there's just not going to happen. But I went through this process and I went to sleep. And then I woke up the next day and I could breathe easier. I didn't feel anxious. I didn't feel heavy. I didn't feel suicidal. I woke up and my eyes opened and I wanted to be here. I wanted to be alive for the first time in 30 years. And I was in shock. I'm like, what just happened? Like, how is this possible? And as I slowly went through the weeks, my whole entire life started to change. I no longer had insomnia. I was able to keep the house cleaner. I had started losing weight. I clearly need to work on that again, but like, I was able to start processing life properly and start the journey of inner healing that would end up changing my life forever. And so that was just session number 1, because I have a lot of trauma things that I'll get into if you want to stick around and hear a part 2 and see what God has done since then, because that day opened a door for me like I never even imagined. There's a journey and a story for how I ended up starting to do deliverance for myself on other people. And then all this whole process, my deliverance journey has been intense. Session after session of inner healing and dealing with witchcraft in my bloodline, dealing with this severe abuse. There's just so much to my story, but yeah, that's part 1.